Most startups don't fail because they have a bad product. They fail because nobody buys it. You can build the greatest product in the world, but if you can't consistently acquire customers, your startup dies. It really is that simple. And yeah, it's that unforgiving. In this explainer, you'll learn the exact strategies, tactics, and tradecraft successful startups use to win customers and scale revenue. We're going to completely demystify how startup sales actually work so you can shift your mindset from being just product-obsessed to, well, distribution-obsessed. To pull this off, we're drawing directly from the ultimate B2B sales playbook for startups. We are literally distilling this massive 15-chapter beast of a guide into a fast-paced, high-value masterclass. You're getting the precise architecture of a scalable sales engine right here.
All right, here's our roadmap. We'll be covering the startup revenue reality, mapping out your ideal customer profile, scalable prospecting and messaging, the discovery call diagnostic, presenting solutions and handling objections, and finally, closing deals and scaling. Let's dive in.
Section 1. The Startup Revenue Reality. Why B2B sales is the lifeblood.
Okay, we need to shatter a pretty dangerous myth right out of the gate. Great products absolutely do not sell themselves. Revenue is your startup's oxygen. And securing that oxygen in B2B sales, it's a completely different beast compared to B2C. B2B is driven entirely by logic and hard ROI, not impulse or emotion. You're navigating way longer sales cycles, often spending weeks or even months, and you've got to win over entire buying committees, not just one person with a credit card.
But listen, the payoff is massive. As the playbook points out, the first check is always the hardest. After that, you're selling proof. Grabbing that single closed enterprise deal acts as a crazy growth multiplier. It doesn't just hand you operating capital, it validates your pricing model, gives you a killer reference case, and literally kicks the door wide open to an entire industry vertical.
Section 2. The Ideal Customer Profile. Targeting the right buyers.
You know, most startup sales failures are actually just targeting failures in disguise. The antidote to this, the ideal customer profile, or ICP. And look at the definition here. An ICP is not some fantasy wish list of cool companies you'd love to work with. Nope. It's a precise, evidence-based hypothesis built entirely by looking at your absolute best existing customers. We're talking about the ones who are new, expand their contracts, and actually refer you to others.
To actually build this out, you're going to use the ICP framework. You don't just guess here. You define the exact industry, company size, and geography. But we need to go deeper than that. What tech stack are they already running? What are the trigger events, maybe a new funding round, or they just hired a new executive, that make them need to buy right now? And who exactly is the decision maker? Mapping all of this out gives you a hyper-focused, laser-accurate target.
Section 3. Scalable prospecting and messaging. Building pipeline.
Look, without a consistent flow of qualified prospects, the rest of your sales system is totally useless. You basically have two engines to build this pipeline, outbound and inbound. Outbound, so your cold emails and cold calls, puts you squarely in the driver's seat and creates immediate pipeline. Inbound, think SEO, content marketing, lead magnets, that builds your sustainable, long-term pipeline. And spoiler alert, the most successful startups out there are actively building both.
But when you actually reach out, what on earth do you say? Enter the PAS messaging framework. Problem, agitate, solution. Honestly, great messaging is just an act of empathy. Step 1, name the specific, observable problem they're facing. Step 2, agitate it. Expand on what that problem is actually costing them in wasted time or lost money. And Step 3, position your product as the natural, credible solution. Seriously, stop selling features and start solving their specific problems.
Section 4. The Discovery Call Diagnostic. Uncovering real pain.
Let me be super clear about something. A discovery call is not a pitch. Not at all. Think of it as a diagnostic tool to evaluate genuine fit. To do this like a pro, successful founders rely on the SPIN framework. You start with situation questions to understand their current setup. Then, problem questions to uncover the real bottlenecks. Next, implication questions. These expand the consequences of those problems, making the pain feel very real. And finally, need payoff questions. This is where you get the prospect to articulate to you exactly how valuable a solution would be. But here is the absolute golden rule of discovery, 80-20. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? You need to be listening 80% of the time and talking for only 20%. Telling is not selling, asking is. The rep who asks the sharpest questions and actively listens, using mirroring, pausing, and summarizing, is always going to win the deal. Always.
Section 5. Presenting Solutions and Objections, the 3-act demo.
Now, this is the danger zone where amateurs usually revert to rehearsed, boring product tours. Instead, look at the stark contrast between feature selling and solution selling. Feature selling is pointing at some empty dashboard and rattling off 47 integrations. Newsflash, nobody cares. Solution selling, on the other hand, sounds like this. You mentioned approval delays are costing your team 15 hours a week. Well, here is exactly how this workflow completely eliminates that bottleneck. You are translating impact into hard, measurable dollars.
And when they inevitably push back, you welcome it. Objections are actually buying signals, not stop signs. You handle them with this 4-step framework. First, acknowledge and validate their concern to build trust. Second, clarify to find out what the real hidden issue is. Third, respond with solid evidence or a clever reframe. And fourth, confirm that you've fully resolved their concern before moving forward.
Now, what about the dreaded price objection? Always remember this: price is only an issue in the absence of value. If a prospect tells you you're too expensive, what they're actually saying is your price exceeds their perceived value of the product. Whatever you do, do not drop your price. Your job is to elevate their perception of the value you deliver until the price becomes the easiest part of the conversation.
Section 6. Closing deals and scaling, the final steps.
If you've successfully confirmed their pain and clearly demonstrated the ROI, closing shouldn't feel like some high-pressure manipulative tactic. It should just be the natural, friction-free conclusion of your diagnostic process. To make that transition totally seamless, you can lean on these proven closing frameworks. The assumptive close just proceeds as if the decision is already made. The summary close recaps the agreed-upon ROI to build up momentum. The alternative close gives them 2 winning options, which really helps reduce decision fatigue. And the now or later close? That simply surfaces the real tangible cost of delaying their decision.
The startups that win aren't always the ones with the best products. They're the ones that learn how to consistently acquire customers. This is the fundamental truth of B2B sales. A systematized, predictable revenue engine is going to outpace pure product perfection every single time. Master sales, and you'll understand the engine behind every successful business. So take these frameworks, define your precise ICP, pick up the phone and start scaling. Are you ready to build your predictable revenue engine? Or will your superior product just become another startup statistic?